whenever it came out that the director of the movie, I think his name is like Craig Gillespie, he deliberately did not look at the original Woman of Tomorrow comic book. I I should have known that that was a bad sign. This movie seemed to just strip down the story, the original story, and make it basic and honestly empty. Now these are just my first thoughts, and honestly, I'm gonna freeball this whole thing. I'm not gonna record it all today. It's like 10 p.m. I'm not doing that. I'm not in the right mind state. I'm still very disappointed with this movie. But I just gotta say, I still think Millie Alcock is a good pick for Kara Zor-El for Supergirl. I think Ruthie's actress is also, she's fine, right? She's honestly, I don't have any issues with Ruthie in this movie at all. But the story and the theme, it's just like, look, I'm just gonna say right now, I read an Entertainment Weekly article that went over the differences between the comic and the movie right after, and they described the ending to Woman of Tomorrow as Ruthie killing Krem when she was in her old age after he got brought out of the Phantom Zone. That's not what happened in that scene, and they, that whole misinterpretation. I'm wondering if Anna Nogueira also thought that that's what happened, because holy shit. The ending to this movie is it just fucking honestly it shits on the entire theme of the story. The whole point, at least in that comic, the whole point of why they went on that journey. Obviously, it was different in this one, but that's the theme of the story, and you wanted to keep that theme, but then you go and pull that bullshit, and it's like, okay, is she a hypocrite now because she's over here telling little Ruthie, oh, don't kill, it's not gonna make you feel better, and then while you're not looking, I'm gonna go and fucking stab this guy in the neck. Like, what? I don't know, man. Once again, I kind of ask, who the fuck are we putting in these writers' rooms to make these scripts about these characters that we grew up with, that we've come to love? Who are we? Are they really in it to display who these characters are? Do they truly understand what these characters stand for? Are they really respecting the source material like they should? Because this movie seems like a bastardization of the original comic. I don't know, man. All I gotta say is Supergirl missed the mark really badly. All right. It's been, I slept on it. Surprise. It's still not, I still don't like the movie. Okay. So, like I said last night, like the director did not look at Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow at all, on purpose. I don't know what Anna Nogueira, the writer, was doing when she made certain decisions with this movie. And to be clear, the movie's not terrible. Like, in general, movie's solid. The movie, like, in general, the movie is good. All right, it's decent. It's like an average superhero movie, but like we shouldn't be shooting for average superhero movies, right? Because the average superhero movie is empty, it's soulless, its theme has no foundation behind it. It's just a theme for the sake of there being a theme, and there's nothing in the movie that really supports it. It's kind of something that the characters just say, or the characters just try to emphasize at like the end of the movie, and that's the only time that you hear that. Average superhero movies, average comic book movies are not special at all. And for Supergirl to claim to take influence, and use the story of Supergirl Woman Tomorrow, which is such a great story, and just turn it into a average comic book movie, that's crazy. All right, that's annoying. That's, I feel like, disrespectful to the source material. It's messed up. Like I said, this movie's not terrible, and here, I guess I'll note the differences right now. So number one, Krem is already with the brigands, with the brigands when the movie starts, before he even kills Ruthie's father. In this case, he actually he infiltrates their house. He breaks in looking for some sort of sword. They don't seem to give it to him. They say oh, it's in the barn. Here's the keys. Go get it. And then he ends up killing her mom, her dad, and her brother, right? So Ruthie loses her whole family. I don't think there's any problem with either of those changes. I think starting off Krem with the Brigands makes complete sense. I would have done the same thing. I don't think Ruthie's introduction to Supergirl is bad at all either. That part's fine. Where I start to have an issue is the whole, I guess, the journey that Ruthie and Supergirl go on. They don't seem to go to that many places. I think they go to 1 or 2 places, which, I mean, okay, it's a shorter movie. You can't easily go to all these places. I understand that. I was thinking maybe you could do like a montage of all the different places they go to on their path to tracking Krem, but whatever. Problem is that there are a lot of parts of the original story that get left out that really do make that ending of Supergirl telling Ruthie that she doesn't need to kill Krem to move on with her life. There's some things from that original story that being, I guess, removed from this version kind of ruined the strength of the final ending where Ruth ends up walking away from Krem. One thing I emphasized in my overview of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow before this movie came out was that Kara made sure she helped everyone that came along in her path and had dealt with the Brigands. Now, the Brigands in this movie are different. They're not just murderers, torturers, they're sex traffickers. So they're a little bit different, but I mean, still there are people to help and save, and she doesn't do a lot of that. I mean, she makes sure that they're safe from the battle, but beyond that, she doesn't really do much, right? She, in that sense, she's just like every other hero, right? She doesn't go above and beyond to help them, which is something that she did in the comic. And I think those moments in the comic are what help strengthen Ruth's resolve against vengeance. Because Supergirl, like I said, she's someone who lost her whole planet. And by the way, we'll talk about that in a second. She's someone who lost her whole planet and, just kept on helping people instead of, letting wrath or vengeance consume her. I mean, I'm freeballing this. So if some of my thoughts aren't as well put together, that's because I didn't want to write a script. I just kind of want to talk. But I do have notes. And, I don't know if this was like something that was just like clicking between Anna Nogueira and what was his name? Craig Gillespie. I don't know if they were just clicking and that's why Craig didn't read the original comic, but they went from space galaxy adventure to Mad Max style, which I think, and to a sense, it did limit what you could do in this movie, right? And we missed out on some cool moments. And granted, Supergirl still does look cool as shit in multiple different moments in this movie. Her power level does seem to be a little bit limited at moments. And obviously she's dealing with the red sun and then the green sun poisoning at one point. But like, there's certain points where I feel like, she was getting enough yellow sun to where it seemed like she was just holding back. Even when poisoned, like I feel like the poison shouldn't have affected her that much, but genuinely I think there were moments where she probably should have been at like near full strength and it still seemed like she was holding back, but that doesn't make sense because of what happened at the end of the movie. But here, we'll talk about that later. I don't really mind the change to Mad Max style. That's not a big deal. You can change the style of the movie. Honestly, if you go bar for bar, word for word, vision for vision from the comic, it'd be boring, right? I think the change in the environment is good, especially since it's based on True Grit, which is a Western novel. The original comic book, that is, it's based on True Grit. So if you go back to the roots, I understand that. Honestly, that would be cool, right? But what that seems to do is it limits the ability, the visual ability to be distinct. Like every place they go to kind of looks the same. And I think it limits Supergirl's ability to be Supergirl for this little girl. Because honestly, how many times in this movie does Supergirl actually be that symbol of hope for Ruthie? There's not really any instances in this to do that, beyond helping the woman who have been sex trafficked. But beyond freeing them, she doesn't do anything. So it's not even like she goes above and beyond to help them in that situation. Lobo is very unnecessary in this story. I don't know. I mean, obviously they were just probably like, hey, let's get Lobo in somewhere. He's not very necessary for this story. I'm just gonna be real. He kind of is just there most of the time. Obviously at the end he saves Kara, after getting shot with the kryptonite arrows. You know, that didn't even need it. Honestly, I felt like that moment was unnecessary anyways, because we were already kind of at the climax of the story, right? And Supergirl, she had regained her powers after being poisoned by the green sun, and then immediately, you know, as we're rising, we fall back down to her being poisoned again. And it's like, okay, now we're playing too much with the up and down with Supergirl's powers. Like, we just need to let her do her thing, right? So yeah, I don't think Lobo was really necessary in this movie, but it's not a big deal. He does fit a lot more into the more Mad Max Fury Road type of vibe we have going here. Like I said, she doesn't really do a lot of helping others to heal the pain beyond freeing those girls, which, you know, that's nothing like the original source material. You know, she was helping like everyone she came across in the original story. So when she doesn't do it here, it's like, great. Does she even really care? And is she even really trying to help Ruthie get over this feeling of vengeance that she has? At the end, since there's no talk between them throughout this, especially since at that one moment where Supergirl literally flies off and abandons Ruthie after the girl and her parents get murdered, she flies off and is like, you go find crime yourself. What the hell is that? How are you going to just leave her when she's still in this state? Oh my God. Sorry, I just woke up. It's 7 a.m. I woke up at 6. How are you going to just leave Ruthie in this state and feeling of vengeance when you know you haven't saved her? You know it's not right for her to have this feeling of vengeance, and yet you're going to leave her in this state and just focus on saving your dog? For you to become selfish enough to just focus on your dog and not this little girl who's clearly going down the wrong path of life. It's not Supergirl. I'm sorry. It's not. At least that's not the Supergirl that we see in Woman of Tomorrow. I'm not the best on the rest of Supergirl's mythos, but you know, Woman of Tomorrow is one of those stories that I really do cherish, and it just feels like a different type of Supergirl that we get in this movie. She does a lot of uncharacteristic things in this movie, and there's one more, obviously, I'm sure you all know. If you guys have watched the movie, you know what else I'm going to bring up. But anyways, she does some uncharacteristic things in this movie that just makes me feel like no one really thought about who this character was when they were making this movie. Because Woman of Tomorrow is a somewhat introduction to people of who Supergirl is, right? She's this woman with so much pain and trauma from her past, and yet she fights through it to spread hope to the world and help others so they can maybe move past their own trauma. That's not what she does in this movie. She basically focuses in on saving her dog, trying to keep Ruthie in one spot. When Ruthie tags along, she's, you know, just tells her, stay out of my way the whole time. She doesn't seem to have any type of fucking interest in helping this little girl with her pain and trauma. Pain and trauma that's similar to her own, right? She knows that feeling, and yet she doesn't want to go and help Ruthie with her own pain and trauma. I don't know who the people are in these writers' rooms who are kind of just missing the plot to the point where they are ignoring that these characters who are popular, right? They are popular. There's a reason why these characters are the ones that get more popular than others, because they carry morals and themes with them that people resonate with. If you start ignoring those themes and morals, that's no longer that character. That's someone else with the powers of that character. It's really annoying when that happens. So when Ruthie walks away from Krem at the end of this movie, there's no gravity towards it, because it's like there's no reason she would walk away anyways. No one's helped guide her away from the path of vengeance. She's literally been screaming about it the entire movie. And even in that final battle fight scene, I was like, there's no reason she shouldn't want to kill him right now either, because literally the scene before, she was yelling at Kara about how she stopped her from killing him. Like, there's been no lesson told to her. All she knows is that Kara lost her little chunk of Krypton, right? That's all that she knows, right? There's nothing to back that up. And if you guys remember in the original comic book story, Ruthie has this long monologue at the end where she talks about all the places that they've been to and how her helping them and her pursuit of hope throughout everything they had been through had helped her see the truth. of how vengeance doesn't help you, right? That's that whole thing. And it, makes me wonder if Anna even read the fucking comic herself, or if she cared to reread it, to re-gauge her mind on it all. That was the theme of the fucking story, and we just seeing Kara help them. That's the importance of all that, and that all gets stripped. We go to, I think, 3 places. Maybe 2, honestly. I think we go to the place where we meet Lobo, and the brigands come to sex traffic women, and then we go to the brigands, which is a yellow sun, and then we go to the brigands' home planet, or wherever they put their ship, with the green and yellow sun. And then before that, we're in another world, which doesn't get affected by the brigands, right? And the fact is, none of these worlds get hurt by the brigands to the point where there's anything for Kara to do to help them, because the world where the sex trafficking happens, they just seem to get used to it at a point, and that's just how they live. But Kara does help free some sex trafficked women, but at the same time, we see 3 planets, right? That's it. It's underwhelming, especially since we don't see her do the things that helps Ruth see the truth in the comic. Now, let's talk about the ending. Kara goes on. She says this multiple times throughout the movie. Obviously, there's nothing backing it up, because she doesn't have any substance behind why she says it. But she tells Ruthie that vengeance is not going to help cure her pain, right? And Ruthie brings up a good point. She says, "Why would I not want to kill him? So I can end up like you, moping around, getting drunk all the time?" It's a great point. Kara has nothing to say towards that, which is fine in the moment, but you have to figure out something to refute that, right? And since she has nothing to refute that, it makes it feel empty that she's even saying not to kill anyone, because she doesn't have a real reason beyond just vengeance won't cure the pain, which is true. But you need to back that up with actions, right? Actions speak louder than words. You got to back that up somehow. If you can't back that up, what are you doing? But the crazier part of her saying that is that she goes on to, I swear, kill multiple people during the final battle. She literally, fucking shoots someone with their laser eyes at the end of the movie through one of their little small brigand escape pods, right? And he falls, right? And I'm like, that guy's dead. And then she lands, right? She lands with the escape pod with like 3 other people in it, and that shit explodes right around her. And it's like, those guys are dead too. She lasers a few more other people too, right? And you could say, oh no, she just did what Superman did, where he just took out their armor, or she just took out their armor. We don't get that shown to us, and that's fine. That's completely fine. Maybe some of these people, they just have insanely broken bones. They're just paralyzed for life. That's fine. But, and I was willing to just say, oh, she might have killed some people, but we don't know. Even though I think that whole escape ship that the 4 people are on, where she lasered one guy through the wall and then the rest of them died in the explosion, that definitely happened. But, when it came down to Krem, after she somehow gets Ruthie to walk away from Krem, unrealistic, by the way, like, Ruthie shouldn't even fucking care about what Kara's saying at this moment. She then takes Ruthie's sword and kills Krem herself. So she stabs him in the gut, saying, "That was for what you did to that little girl," and then slices his neck, or stabs him in the neck, saying, "That's for my dog." And that's vengeance, if you didn't know. Just because it's not vengeance for someone who's dead, because she does get the antidote and saves Crypto, just because it's not, vengeance for someone who's dead, doesn't mean it's vengeance. It's wrath, it's vengeance, it's retaliation for something done towards you. That is not... So why are you saying vengeance isn't the solution if you're just going to take out your vengeance for what he did to your dog on him? This isn't even like a problem with Supergirl as a character. This is a problem in general. This doesn't have to be Supergirl for it to be stupid. It could be literally some random Joe. If he's going around trying to teach someone that vengeance is not the answer, and then once that person isn't in view or they're not watching, they take out vengeance themselves, you're a fucking hypocrite. I don't know, man. It's like... when things get written like that, it makes me feel stupid, or it makes me think that they think that we're stupid, right? Like, we're not slow. She's been saying that vengeance is bad the entire fucking movie. So for her to still take revenge for her dog in the end is, I don't know. Did anyone fucking proofread this? Like, I'm very curious on whether or not James Gunn actually read the script and, you know, was like, yeah, that's good. Like, I struggle to believe. And honestly, didn't he say that it was like one of the best scripts he's read? Like, there's no way he read this and was like, hell yeah, this is one of the best scripts ever. Like, I don't know, man. It's so crazy. I don't know. What this is this is just making me wonder who are these people in these writers' rooms? Do they actually care about these heroes, or are they lying? Because Anna Nogueira seems to say that she loves Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, like it's one of her favorite comics, and yet she goes and makes a bastardized version of it. And do you really love it? Because there's one reason to love it, and it's the theme, the story, how powerful the theme is displayed across the story. It's the execution of that theme. It's all of that. And here we don't get any of that. We get the theme, but the theme has nothing to back it up, so it doesn't really matter. Oh man, this is like Captain America Brave New World. Captain America Brave New World has this stupid ass fucking monologue by Sam Wilson at the end of it, where he tells Ross to, I don't know, come clean, face his demons, something stupid. And, you know, for some reason it gets him to transform out of Red Hulk. And I'm just sitting here like, there's no fucking personal gravity here for us to care about that, because we barely seen those two interact. That's how this makes me feel, because this is how all these generic movies go. They have some theme just sitting there waiting for it to be revealed in the last seconds of the movie, while the rest of the movie is just a bunch of bullshit, instead of actually like crafting the building blocks for that theme to become realized in the end. And that's why I like to say that this movie is basic, because it's doing what all the other basic, average, empty superhero movies are doing, and it's just stripping everything great about a story, just leaving us with action, great action, granted, you know, an average story, some emotional moments that, you know, could get you, and then a theme that gets realized at the end and that doesn't have anything backing it, or a theme that a character kind of realizes and changes their ways randomly out of nowhere without anything behind it, any type of reasoning that would actually push them towards the other side. This movie, there's nothing wrong with it. Well, there's a lot wrong with it. I just spent fucking 30 minutes talking about it. But like, in a sense of it being a bad movie, the only problem I have is really the vengeance is not the answer part. And then she goes on and takes out vengeance at the end. Like, that's my only issue where I consider this a bad movie for sure. Like, just in general, I think it's a bad Supergirl movie, but I don't think it's a bad movie. Like, I think I've looked at the audience scores. It's at like a 76 or whatever. Supergirl, I don't know. I guess critics really held on to some of the emptiness that this movie has because they've got it at 57%, but audiences have it at 76%. That's probably because Supergirl does look badass in this movie. She does. She looks really badass. It's just like, you know, I wish that these writers would take a lot more time in making sure that the themes of these stories actually mean something, that they have a lot more gravity behind them, because it would allow superhero stories and comic book stories in general to become a taken a little bit more serious again. Right now, a lot of things are coming out that are just super basic. They feel like you're just watching them for, you know, a good time. No type of thought process beyond just enjoying it in the moment, which is fine. I mean, for certain movies, that's just what you got to do. But some of these movies are based off of comics with some strong themes that can be executed really well, and they just shit the bed for some reason, and that's annoying. If you haven't read Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, I suggest you read that. That's what this movie was based off of, or watch my video that I dropped recently. Either one, so you'll understand what the differences are between the movie and the comic, because there's a lot that's changed. I'm gonna give this a 5.5 out of 10. Not a good look for DC Studios, but we'll see. My stomach is growling, so I need to eat breakfast. So I will talk to you guys next time. Make sure to like the video and sub for more content like this. Until next time, thanks for watching.